Hello students, now we will be studying about community. When we talk about community, it is used very vaguely. It is used in different ways and is given different interpretations. And mostly we use this community to refer to a religious community or a racial community and so on. According to Bogardas, community is social group with some degree of free feeling and living in a given area or a geographical area. Kingsley Davis states that community is the smallest territorial group that can embrace all aspects of social life. According to MacIver, community is an area of social living marked by some degree of social coherence. From all these definitions, we can understand that there are two bases for a community. The first one is locality and the other one is community sentiment. These are the two principles or two bases for the community, my dear friends. Now let us discuss about the characteristics of community. When we talk about community, my dear friends, these are naturally formed. These are not deliberately formed, but these are naturally formed as per the requirements or as per the lifestyle of the individuals. And these communities are stable in nature because they are naturally formed as per the requirements of the human beings. So, whether the communities are big or small, so based on the requirements of the people, the communities can be small or big, my dear friends. And in each and every community, we have some regulations in order to maintain the relations among the individuals. It can be the system of traditions, customs, morals, practices, rules and regulations. These are going to regulate the relation of the members who are there in that particular community. So, in each and every community, we require locality and community sentiment. So, I will give one example to make you understand. I hope all of you have watched this movie Sai. In that, there is a college, and in the college there are two student communities. One is who are studying science group and the other one who are studying arts group. And most of the time these two communities are going to fight with each other. The arts students group and the science students group are always trying to fight with each other. In that, you must have seen villain Bhikshu Yadav. He wants to capture or he wants to take over the college, the entire property of the college. At the time, do you know what happened? There was a community sentiment that this is my college, and all the people, they forgot about their differences, that they are from science or social science, and they came together and they fought with Bhikshu Yadav and they try to retain their college, my dear friends. So, we require locality and we require community sentiment among the individuals. Now, let us discuss about the types of communities. There are three types of communities. One is tribal community, rural community, and the third one is urban community. Now, let us discuss about tribal community. According to Majumdar, a tribe is a social group with territorial affiliation, endogamous with no specialization of functions, ruled by tribal officers, which comes through heredity, united in language or dialect, recognizing social distance from tribes or caste. According to Henry Bidley, he defined tribe as a society with political, linguistic and somewhat vaguely defined cultural boundary. So, it is also based on the kinship where social stratification is absent. Now, let us discuss the characteristics of tribal community. Tribal communities are smaller in size, my dear friends. Their number is very less. If you go to Andaman and Nicobar Island, there was an article published about the tribes who are there in Andaman Nicobar Island. In one tribe, there is only one human being who is alive, and if that person is put to death, then the entire tribal community is vanished off from this planet. And there is one more community which has nearly 24 people, and the government is trying to preserve their community, my dear friends. So mostly the tribal communities are smaller in size. Then these tribal communities are going to have territorial affiliation and they also have geographical isolation. If we go to Adilabad, we will find Gond tribes especially located in that area. If you go to Srikakulam, you will find Chenchu tribe. So we are going to have territorial affiliation and these people are also isolated with the rest of the people who are there in that particular state or the country. And people who are there in that particular territorial area, geographical area, they are going to have common language, common religion, same cultural patterns and same economical condition. So we call it as a homogeneous group. And all the tribals who are there in that community, they are united by language or dialect. Whenever we talk about language, it has a lipi where we are going to record the we go for documentation and so on. And if you see Lambadi, it is only a dialect. If you see the Gond language, it is only a dialect which does not have any lipi. So the tribal communities have their own language system or a dialect. Then we have their own religion. We must have studied about religion like animism, animatism, totemism and the different forms which we find in the tribal communities. Then each and every tribal community have their own culture. We have folk tales, folklores, folk songs, dance which have been the important element of tribal life, their belief system, their practices as well as customs. And these practices, my dear friends, have been unchanged over many generations. If you go to Adilabad, we have this Nagoba Jatara. 1 month before the Jatara, we see that the Meshram family goes to fetch the water almost 1 month, 1 month earlier itself they are going to start. With the barefoot, they go to various parts of the country, they bring the water and they start the program, my dear friends, or the celebrations there. So culture has been unchanged over many generations. And their economy is very, very simple even now. In most of the communities, even now they are into food gathering, or else they are into shifting cultivation, we call it as Podu cultivation, or in some societies they are even into hunting and pastoral economy. The tribal social organization is strongly based upon clan and kinship. And when we talk about political organization, my dear friends, we have the tribal panchayats and tribal leaders who are trying to control the behavior of the individuals and who try to integrate all the people who are there in that particular society. And in the tribal communities, political organization or tribal panchayats, this authority comes through heredity for the people. Now let us discuss about rural community. Rural communities are simple and exhibit many folk characteristics but vary in size and in terms of homogeneity. A rural community is therefore a human settlement which is relatively smaller, less densely populated and more homogeneous in group. Now, when we talk about the rural communities in terms of size of population, we can classify them into two types. One is based on population which are smaller, but these do not have any of the urban characteristics. And when we talk about the permanence of community, we can classify them into three categories, my dear friends. One is migratory agriculture villages, second one is semi-permanent agriculture villages, and the third one is the permanent agriculture villages. And on the basis of ecological characteristics, we can classify the villages into three types: the nucleated villages, the linear settlements, and the small cluster of houses without any physical demarcation who are found in the hilly areas. Now let us discuss about the urban communities. According to Louis Wirth, a urban community is a relatively large and socially heterogeneous human settlements. the heterogeneity is found in the social, economical as well as in the cultural aspects of the population. The occupations and economical structures is different from that of the other communities, namely the tribal as well as the rural communities. Let us discuss the characteristics of urban communities. The first one is it is highly populated with heterogeneous groups based on occupation, religion, caste, ethnicity and so on. We find different sections of people residing in the urban society. So, that is the reason why we call it as heterogeneous group. And because different cultures, different religions are going to come and work together, stay together, it is happening just because they have high tolerance towards the other cultures, other religious people, and because of adjustment among the individuals and tolerance, these societies are continuing. Because there is tolerance as well as adjustment, my dear friends, it is also giving more scope to bring change in the society. We can see a lot of inventions, discoveries are taking place, and it's also going to be imbibed in the life of the individuals. Urban communities are the centers of the for the non-agriculture activities. In the urban centers, we will find mostly the secondary and the tertiary sectors in terms of employment, either the industries or the service sector, my dear friends. We find in the urban centers the kinship is very weak, and the significance for the family is also very less, my dear friends. People are more dependent on the secondary contacts or secondary relations and on the work culture. Till now, my dear friends, we have studied about community, its meaning, its characteristics and types of communities like tribal community, rural community and urban community.